What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Thursday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and we are here at the wedding weekend. My little sister is getting married. So get ready for a really wonky schedule for the Daily Juice Podcast over the next couple of days. I do not know exactly when the podcast will come out. I just know it's going to be a little bit erratic. So today we're Thursday morning. We're all set. But tonight's the rehearsal dinner. I have no idea how late the thing's going to go. So I'm probably going to tape it somewhere in the afternoon or early evening before I go out and then maybe post it later. But then for Friday night into Saturday morning, that's the wedding. I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have a ton of chaotic things happening. I got an event in the morning on Friday. I've got the wedding, obviously, at 5, and then the reception and everything else, and there's an after party, and it's going to be a really late night. So there's a really good chance that the podcast for Saturday will be taped, and it will drop on Saturday morning. Okay, be aware of this. I'm on the East Coast, so you West Coast people probably won't even notice a difference. But for you East Coast people, just as we may not get the overnight taping like we normally do for Friday night into Saturday. Just FYI, heads up on that for the Saturday morning podcast. For yesterday, what happened? Well, we wound up going flat. We got the Pete Crow Armstrong prop right, but Lucas Giolito got lit up. So we went 1-1, down 0.3 units on that. The Reds won easily. The Braves got annihilated as Justin Verlander, all of a sudden, the Braves made him look like a competent pitcher. So they won a game finally started by Justin Verlander. The Soroka thing still continues for us with betting against him. So bet against Soroka again, but maybe check with Verlander as to who he's facing. But no blood, no foul there. Completely flat. Player props down 0.3 units. So really nothing to get all that upset about. 0.3 units down. We're still up for the week as we head to Thursday. Okay, before we give you the picks and the plays, you guys, this is the end of July. If you want to win the Jim Palmer signed baseball, Hall of Fame pitcher, if you want to win this, you got to get in now because we're almost to the end of the month. To win this autographed baseball, thanks to our friends at pristineauction.com, you must subscribe to the BettingPros YouTube channel and comment on this video. That is it. Do whatever you want with the comments. Okay, be creative, be funny, give a recommendation, give a play, give your favorite place to eat pizza. I don't care. Just comment on something to get yourself attention to go ahead and be picked to win the autographed Jim Palmer baseball, which we will give away coming up at the 1st of August. So stay tuned for that. I don't think I've loaded the plays, and I did not. Hold on. Let me go ahead and do that so we can do the picks part of the podcast. And, well, there it is. Okay, let's start in the WNBA. There's no baseball today. It's a tiny schedule for Major League Baseball. So let's talk about the WNBA. You guys know I don't bet the NBA all that often, but the Aces are playing the Fever, so it's a really big game. It's on Prime Video, big audience, national TV. So let's get involved, okay? The total for this game is 163. The Vegas Aces are favored by 2 points. Caitlin Clark has already been ruled out of this game with the injury, the groin issue, so she's not playing. Vegas got destroyed the last time they played the Fever without Caitlin Clark. 81-54. Vegas does not forget those types of beatings, and, well, Asia Wilson will make sure that nobody else ever does. So we have an interesting run here between these two teams. We're 8-2 to the under the last 10 times these two teams played. This year, 81-54, way under 163.5, and 89-81, under 172.5. But if you look at the numbers as to where they normally have been between these teams, over the last 10 games, only one of them has been 163.5. That was the last one, and Vegas gave up 81 points. They scored 54. That's not Vegas Aces basketball, okay? That's just not typical for them to give up 81 and only score 54. The previous games, 172.5, 179, 180, 179.5, 174.5, 173, 170, 172, 173. This is 163.5. I think this is too low. I doubt Vegas scores 54 points again. I don't think Vegas, they've held the Fever. They've given up 81 points in both meetings so far this year. First meeting was 89-81, the win for Vegas. They were favored by 1. They won and covered. Second game, Indiana was catching 4.5, and they won the game easily. So I don't think we got to worry there. Indiana is coming back off of a 3-game road trip where 2 of the 3 games went over. 163 for New York in both games. In both games went over. They lost 98-84 and 98-77. They also lost to Connecticut. They beat Connecticut 85-77, but they were 15-point favorites in that game, and they did not win. Did not cover. They won, but they didn't cover. So this has been a team that at home, their last 2 home games against Dallas and Atlanta, both have gone over. And look, without Caitlin Clark, they're not the same basketball team, but Vegas can score. Indiana can score. I'm going to go over. I think 163.5 is too low of a number here. Take Vegas and Indiana over 163.5 for 1.1 units. One baseball bet that I want to jump in on, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays on the road against the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Blue Jays are currently, or did that game go final? Looks like that game went final against the Yankees, and they won the game 8-4. So now they go on the road, feeling very good about themselves and holding a really impressive lead in the American League East of 4 games over the Yankees. Red Sox are now up 7-6 in the top of the 10th inning, and boy, do they need a win against Philadelphia. They're desperate to not get swept. They will have taken 1 of 3 in both games, in both series since the All-Star break. So 2-4, not a great start for Boston out of the All-Star break. But for Toronto on the road at 23-25, they're a different team on the road. They're really good at home. They're a different team on the road. The Tigers are 32-18 at home. They're really good, and they're throwing Reese Olson. Reese Olson has lost, the team has, back-to-back starts, and in fact, they've lost 4 of 5, but it's not been his fault. He's given up 0, 2, 1, 0, 3, and 0 earned runs in his last 6 starts. Not this kid's fault. His ERA at home is 2.30, 3-1 mark with a 2.55 opposing batting average, just 7 earned runs given up in 27 and a third innings worth of work. He's been tremendous. The Blue Jays, on the other hand, will throw Eric Lawler, who's not been bad, on the road, ERA of 3.2 record, 11 earned in 33 innings worked. He's won 2 of his last 3, and the team went on just an absolute tear earlier in this year where they won, 5, 6, 7 of 8 games in which he has started. 6-3 last time. He lost his last road start, though, 2-1 to the White Sox. Not his fault. He went 4 innings and gave up 2 earned runs. I'm going to take the Tigers here. It's a cheap price on a better team at home against a team that really needs to get the ship righted. Detroit has been bad. People are saying the Tigers are broken. I can't really argue because of the way they've played. They just got swept by the Pirates, and they lost 2 of 3 to the Rangers, and they were swept by the Mariners. Their lead is still 8 against the Cleveland Guardians. They've lost 3 games in a row. They've won 1 game of their last 1 of their last 9 games for the Tigers. Bad road trip, bad everything. Think they come back home here and get a W with Olsen on the mound, chance to lick their wounds a little bit here and catch a high-flying Blue Jays team, and the Tigers get to right the ship a little bit. I'm going to go contrarian here. I'm going to jump in here on the Tigers on the money line at minus 130 for 1.3 units. Now, the 2 Major League Baseball player props, we only have, I think it's 5 games on the schedule for today. Let me double check on the exact number of games. It could be less. It could be 4 games. We have 4 games. No, 5. I was right. 5 games on the schedule. So not a ton from a player prop perspective, but I'll go and see if I can find 2 of them that we like, and I'll put them on the BettingPros app like I've been doing. Search at Sports Talk Matt to go ahead and jump in on that, and then also bettingpros.com/Matt for the desktop version of those picks and plays. We'll put them out in the morning for us here. Friday, there won't be player props, so don't worry about that. Saturday won't be player props. So if you like player props, we're going to take a break for a couple of the days. We're going to jump in on a couple of it, but for today, for a couple of them, but not Thursday and not Friday. We'll bring it back on Sunday for the player props. I'll take a couple of days off from that. Go and download the BettingPros app and search at Sports Talk Matt to get my picks there for our props for Major League Baseball. Once again, we're taking the Vegas and Indiana Fever and the Aces over 163.5. Tigers on the money line in a couple of player props later on today. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.